I just wanted to get that. Ty said this is the equipment we're keeping. It's right here on the table. The equipment that he has separated is on the shelf. That is no longer needed or just not able to be used. It's old, it's still good equipment, but okay, I got it. What else we got? Need one of these?
I got one.
Yeah.
Now what I've done, everyone that kind of had their wetsuits out, are you filming?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone that had their wetsuits out, they're left hanging. I didn't touch that. So, like Caesar and and Robert Thompson, theirs is all hanging there. Caesar's certified on dry suit, Thompson isn't. So I left that all in place. Everything that has come off have been the old BCs and all the old regulators and hoses and things that are not compatible with our new full face mats and regulators. All the weights have been primarily organized over here. 2-pounders, 3-pounders, 5s, 4s, 6s, all the soft weights
Okay.
we'll use for training and not actually on a project.
Okay.
Because they're more fragile, they're full of lead shot, they can break open and then you don't have the weight anymore. But they're good for training in a pool, because when you're training to drop your weight and they fall to the bottom of the gunite pool,
Don't hurt anything.
it doesn't hurt anything. You're not risking damaging or chipping any plaster. So this
Good
is
deal.
essentially what you would need. Now what I've done here, I've organized so far everyone's complete system that will go in their own individual duffel. Okay, so down here's their dry suit, which there's a dry suit bag, which is in here, which I will put all that together when I fill these bags up. We're still 2 bags shy. Hopefully they'll turn up. If not, we'll figure out something else.
Right.
So this is their complete personal system. Their dry suit, their thermal, which has their thermal gloves and their thermal head cover that goes underneath the latex hood, and it has their rock boots, which is their over boots that go over their dry suit socks and then inside their fins. These are their fins. I've matched the sizes of the fins up the best I can with the size of their rock boot, and I've noted the numbers of the fins and who I've assigned them to. And then this is their harness rig, their BC rig, and this we're going to walk through on how to set this up. Kind of looks like a little bit of a jumbled spaghetti mess, but once you realize where it all goes, it's pretty straightforward. And I've sort of twisted it up just to make it compact to sit there on top of the other gear.
Right.
So you have your 2 shoulder components. Your shoulder harness is here. These are your waist straps, and this is your crotch strap. And this is all essentially continuous webbing. From here, laces through the plate, comes around behind, down and through. Of course, the crotch is an individual bit of webbing, but this is how it goes. It just goes on, and then this would be after the tank is on, but I'm just going to show you this now just for clarity without having the tank in place. This goes over the diver's shoulders. This comes around his waist. This is the crotch strap. Crotch strap comes up. I like to pass the buckle through.
Okay.
Then this comes around and comes through and buckles here. Now, if they're going in wet, it's going to be loose, the way it was loose on Thompson the other day. But I've got these kind of roughly sized, like we did when we brought the guys in and tried on their dry suits. We got them roughly sized for their dry suits with their heavy thermals. We're going to fine tune the fit when we get them in the pool and actually get their dry suit class going. So this is just the basic setup of this. All the weight pockets are configured upside down so that if the diver does need to ditch his weights, all he does is pinch the Fastex buckle and the weight of the weight itself opens the flap and then the weights fall free. So it's just pop, 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 pop. It's just pinching these Fastex buckles and just letting everything fall free. So that's why they're rigged upside down. Okay. Here on the back, you've got the cam bands for the tank. And we'll start setting the system up right now. Kind of what you're used to. First one goes over. Second one goes over. And they're kind of snug because when you snap these cams down, you want them to almost kind of pop. You almost hear them ring.
Yep.
Ring the aluminum as you snap them down. So what I like to do is you want to make sure that the plate is facing forward, and I like to align this top bolt with the opening of the valve. I like these two, and that way if these two are visually aligned, then the plate and all this is straight on the tank. And then I like to just let the top of this wing just kind of nestle in here to the curvature of the tank. So all this kind of just fits in there as one unit. Now what I'll do is I will snug the first, I'll secure this one first. And I like these buckles when they're snapped. And if you need to, you actually can, with this open, you can just kind of pull it, snug them up. But I like for the, and I like to get it to right about there. Then I'll take and pass this through. All right, I'll pass it through. See, so you got that good snap. And then I just take it and run the Velcro all the way around and just get it all up under here and tuck it.
Nice.
Streamline and out of the way. Yep. And I like the buckle needs to be kind of here towards, when I say the buckle line, I'm talking about the buckle and this ring here, kind of in line here with the back of the valve. And the reason that's placed that way is to, and see, because these will slide and move around. So you can slide them and move them around.
Yeah.
So when I place them, I like them to be right about there, and they need to be there because we've got to attach the bailout bottle, and it attaches to the second cam band. So you kind of open that up, and so you got your little bit of your slack there, right? And in that slack, you fit this bracket, right? And it just drops in there. And with it there in place, you want it to be to where this is sitting on the floor. The bottoms of the tanks are flush. Otherwise, if this orientation is off, then this can either be too high or too low. And when you have it on the deck, this helps stabilize. Having this second tank here on the bottom of the tank on the same plane as the main tank, it just helps stabilize it when you got it on the deck or you're gearing it up here in the back of the trailer or whatever. All right, so that's where that one's positioned, and you can snug it up a little bit more if you want. get it right about to there. Feed that back through. That snaps in place, and that Velcro's down. All right.
Nice.
So now these are the two tanks as they're rigged here on the BC. Now we're going to go to regulators. They are in essentially two different pieces. All right. You've got the regulator for your main air supply, and you've got your regulator for your backup air supply for your bailout. And attached to that is the manifold switch block. Okay? So the way this goes, everything life support comes off on the right-hand side. Meaning this hose here is the primary air supply hose to the diver, right? Everything else is non-essential. It's the high pressure SPG hose, SPG meaning submersible pressure gauge. This is the inflator hose that connects into the corrugated BC hose, and this is the dry suit hose. So, in hooking this up, everything life support's coming off to the right. This drops on over the top, tightens down just like you would tighten up, you know, any other regulator type system. These necks here on this valve are a little short. You'll notice how this spacing here between the valve and the hand wheel is greater than this. And you got to be careful. This one's actually not that bad. Another one was the other day. Make sure that the top of the yoke is twisted up, because if it's on one of the shorter stem valves, this can come down and it can block the rotation of the hand wheel. So just make sure that that's up and that this can rotate freely. All right, that's all tightened down. Yeah, I'll just spin it around so Reagan, you don't have to get up. Okay, the way this works, the way this configures, the SPG, the submersible pressure gauge, it clips in here, this D-ring on the left hip. So that's where it secures. And the reason this is tied on, this bolt snap is tied on with cave line, is that you never want a metal-to-metal connection here. You always want to be able to cut free anything that could get entangled or seized. This could get entangled. This gate could become obstructed where you couldn't get it open. So you rig it this way so you can cut it free, and you can separate things if you need to, if you had an entanglement or if this bolt snap seized up or something like that. So here's the BC line, and I like to pass it through the hole here in this little guide flap, and then just bring it here alongside, and it just snaps in. And see, now this is free flowing because it's not hooked into the manifold block yet. So, and then if he's not diving dry, once it's on, I just tuck this hose out of the way. It's got a quick disconnect on it. It's not going to free flow. Okay, so this is the preliminary setup for the main air supply. Now, this is the setup for the backup air supply for the bailout model. Now, when this regulator goes on, this hose goes up. Everything on this is life support because it's backup. Okay, not everything on this is life support because you're running other systems here, but this is solely dedicated to life support. That's why there's only one hose. So you don't have to think, okay, life support right, but it essentially is life support right because it's still on the right-hand side of the main tank. So it goes on, and when it goes on, you want to orient it with the hose up. It allows the hose to come up over the diver's shoulder. It's in line with the main air supply hose, and it allows you to see the little gauge here so you can see the contents of the backup bottle. So there's your little pressure gauge. So this one faces up, all right? Now here's where the two come together. This is the manifold block. This is the gas switch block. Okay. You'll just take this main supply line and it just threads in. Threads in and it just screws into place. Okay, so that's there and that's there. Now, the positioning here of the gas switch block. When the lever's facing backwards, when it's facing towards the rear of the diver, it's pulling air, it's diverting air off the main line, off the main tank. This is off, and this is bringing in air from the backup tank. So what this does is main air off, and then we go to backup air, continuing for the main supply to be off. All right, so that's how this is. When it's being dove, it's always dove back. In the event of emergency of an out of air supply here on the main tank, the diver just rotates it all the way forward, and then he's now breathing off of this. Okay.
And you said if there's a problem and it's free flowing, that
Right.
you can regulate
That
it.
is correct. That's correct.
That's the reason for the
Right.
cutoff.
These two positions here help you maintain an out of gas situation. A problem essentially with these two regulators here. Okay. This off position helps you manage a problem with the second stage regulator. And we'll get to that right now.
So that's just a backup to the
Here-
backup.
Here on the mask. Right. Because if this regulator is going to fail, if there's going to be a problem, it's designed to where it fails open. It fails into a free flow mode.
It's not cutting you off.
So it's not going. If it fails, it's not cutting you off. If it fails, it's giving you more than you can breathe. It's a major rush of air. You can control that gas loss, that air loss, by this off position here. So let's say that you were on your main tank, you're back here, and all of a sudden you got a free flow out of the mask. Okay, well what that free flow is doing, that's dumping this tank faster than you would be breathing the tank. So to control that free flow, that loss, on exhalation, you'd shut it off because that stops the free flow. If you didn't, it's still going to be free flowing when you're exhaling. So you would flip it down, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And what you're basically doing is you're manually taking over the function of this regulator being able to inhale, exhale, and give you the gas, the air at the proper intervals. So that's what this is. All these failures are rare occurrences, but we do have these backups in place to be able to manage them on all fronts. Whether we have a regulator problem here, some sort of out of gas situation here, or we have a free flow here, we can manage it all with this. And this mounts to the right waist belt. So it's just a slide, and it just comes on here. And you just slide it in, and it goes up here up against the most forward weight pouch, and you go back in with your buckle. Okay, so then now that's mounted to his belt. It's always going to be on his right-hand side. It's always here at his belt. In an emergency situation, it's a muscle memory thing that comes into play. He doesn't have to go hunting for it. It's always right here. Okay, this line here that comes off the front of the manifold goes to the mask. And it just screws in, just like that. It's on a ball swivel, so it can position down and be streamlined and tucked out of the way for when he's in the water doing his job. The last thing to hook up is the communications module. We're going to put it right here. It's just going to go underneath where we Velcroed down this lower cam band. But that's why you want to make sure that Velcro wise, this is all tucked up as far as it can be and secured, because this is going to be clipping into that. And it's just a belt clip. It's just a belt clip that just clips on, and now it's there in place. And we rig it here to where that it's out of the way. It's kind of streamlined. It's tucked in behind his shoulder and rib cage, so that as he's down there searching, it's protected, but it's not obstructed. It's not here under the belt to where it could be covered up by part of the dry suit or whatever. And this way it can communicate with the surface communication station. And then it's just a 2-prong wet plug. I'd run it here kind of underneath and tuck everything out of the way, just make this as streamlined as possible. And then they just plug together. It's just 2 and 2, and that's all there is to it. It's just a compression fit. This is a wet switch. When this gets wet,
It comes
the
on.
connection's made, right, it comes on. And so when diver enters the water, it comes on. You don't have to switch anything on. You don't have to think about anything there. Now, with the topside station, everything for topside communications is in this bag. So we've got the main comms box itself. We have on this side a microphone, transducer and cable. Here's some microfiber towels. If any of that stuff gets water droplets on it, you can clean it off. In here is the manual for the mask, which walks you through the different channel sequences that we talked about earlier, which we'll get into all this once we start our training. But if you need to know something about the masks and the communication side of this, it's all in here. Here's the charger for the top side box. Shouldn't need it because it was all topped off. But once you get into this, there's 2 buckles in the front. This plugs in here, microphone goes in. This transducer cable, it goes in here. I'm not gonna uncoil too much of this, but it's just a 3-prong connector, fits in place. And then it has this collar that screws down, and once you feel it click,
It's there.
it's turning it on.
Okay. Oh, I see the switch.
This
yeah.
is how you turn the system on. It just, when you put it in and you're screwing it down, and then once it clicks,
Yep.
it's on. So there's no switches in here to turn the system on.
Gotcha.
For this, for this speaker here, that's this switch. And you've got your volume controls, you got your squelch, and you've got your channel controller here. This is a relief valve, so that when you're charging the batteries, you open this little valve up in case during the charging process some of the batteries may off gas a little bit. You know how batteries will. So when you're
Okay.
charging, you open this valve here. When you're not charging, you close it. If we had a headset with a mouth mic, it would go here. And then if we were charging it, then that's the charger port. And if we needed to record any of the communications down the road for whatever, if admin thought we needed to have all of our communications on a dive recorded, then that jack there gives us the ability to record everything that was talked about while the dive op was going on. So that's off. This just pulls out. This just unscrews down here at the bottom. And then you're back in
Now,
You're
those
back in action.
channels, Ty, is there a channel? This operates off of one. I didn't see a channel.
Well, there are channels. The channel settings to change them are in here.
And that's only if you're like having problems.
Well,
One's not. Because it seemed like
if we were running multiple teams,
Oh, okay.
let's say we had like a big op,
Yeah.
and maybe we were
Or you
Maybe
had
we
two
were-
divers
maybe
in
we
at
were-
once.
collaborating. Well, if we had two divers in at once and we didn't want them to be able to communicate with one another, we'd put each one on a different channel.
Okay.
But if both those divers are on the same channel, then they can talk to each other underwater as
I
well.
see what you mean. If we're doing a collaboration.
So say if we're doing
I
a
got you.
collaboration with Shreveport Fire, we got something busload of kids going in the river, and there's multiple bodies and fatalities aboard, and it's a multi-departmental kind of thing. And because I think Shreveport Fire has these systems or something similar that operates on this channel. We may want to go on channel 1, they go on channel 2, so we're not hearing all their chatter. You know, but then we would have the ability to, all right, well, if we did need to all talk to one another, then we could all go to the same channel
Right.
and then all run it like that. So,
I got you.
and that's in here. There's settings there, but then there's also, and this is, I'm still learning this, there's also a way to change channels
On your mask?
in the mask.
Okay.
Yep.
That's nice.
You can,
That makes sense. Yeah.
when you, and this is also too, where you charge them. So you don't have to open, you can charge them through here, but if you don't want to disturb this seal, you just unscrew that. This transponder comes off, and your charger jack plugs into it. So that makes it pretty handy. So and that screws back down. Okay, in the mask, and this is what I said we're all still learning, that I'm still learning. These masks are set for push to talk. So that when the diver wants to communicate with topside, he pushes in the button, speaks, lets go of it. To go into the menu sequence, you push this twice. And then you'll hear her start talking to you through these conduction microphones. And these microphones actually, they don't go over the ear, they kind of go above the ear, and they transmit sound through your skull. So it's a bone conduction speaker. You push it twice, and she goes into menu mode. And then she starts saying volume, channel, squelch, whatever. And then when you're on one of the selections that you want, then you push it again as she says volume. And then she'll say high, low, high, low. And then you just, whichever one you want, whenever she says it, you tap it. And then you like click 3 times to get out of it. This is the surface breathing valve. What this does is it allows the diver to breathe outside air when he's not underwater, so he's not, and he can have the mask on. That way he's not breathing air here from his main supply. So it's just, you know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now it's closed, and with it being closed, he would start breathing off of this. When it's open, his breathing air is going to start coming through here. So make sure if you did have a diver that was on standby and he was, you know, sitting there geared up like we were the other day, he's got it open. But one of the checklists is just before he goes underwater, make sure that, I mean, he'll figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
But he needs to figure it out before he needs to, and
Yeah.
he just turns and
gotcha.
closes it off.
Yeah,
And then
we'll
once he
have that.
closes it off, then your inhalation will start pulling from here. And that's essentially it. And then breaking it down, you just kind of run everything in reverse. Since this is kind of one of our more critical components, I would take it off the system first, put it here in the bag. I would go ahead and then remove the mask from the manifold, from the block, but you leave the hose connected to the manifold. So I just come here and unscrew it. It goes back in its pouch. And in here, I have the mass charger.
Okay.
This is an adapter that if we want to just, if we needed to just, for whatever reason, just use AA batteries, you can use AA batteries here inside the module. And there's just manuals and other stuff that came with the mask that'll be handy to kind of keep there with it. And this is the system that we rigged up for Thompson the other day. Still has his name on it. Let me put all this away. I just put this box here in the main compartment of the duffel. Transponder goes over here, along with the microphone. And that way all of our topside stuff is in one bag. It's just quick grab and go. That's all there. This is the mask. Breaking this down, we're just gonna reverse everything. We never turn the gas on, so we don't have to turn it off. And yeah, I would break down